Okay, so for today, we will talk about solving quadratic equation by using quadratic formula. This is another method on how to solve quadratic equation. So we already talked about factoring, about completing the square, and for today, we'll have the quadratic formula. Each method have their own pros and cons. For factoring method, it is the easiest one. However, not all trinomials or quadratic equation can be solved by factoring because sometimes the constant term is difficult to factor, which is also difficult to find that satisfy also the constant term or the linear term. Okay, that is the pros and cons of factoring. How about completing the square? In completing the square, you need to learn first how to factor before you apply before you use the completing the square. Okay, because there is a step on the completing the square that we will need to factor some statement, mathematical statement. And for the quadratic formula, for me, on my own opinion, this is the best method without using any calculators because it can apply in all kinds of quadratic equation or trinomials given. Okay, and then let me show you this one. So the pros and cons, quadratic formula is best in all trinomials or quadratic equation. However, you need to memorize the equation of the quadratic formula. You may use this one also in college or higher mathematics. So if I were you, you will memorize it. Okay, the formula is x is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Oh my God, there is a radical symbol, but don't worry, that is an easiest one, especially if you know those perfect square root. Okay, and the standard form of quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus z is equal to 0, where a must not be equal to 0. Why? Because if a is equal to 0, any number you multiply by 0, the answer is 0. So we will cancel out the quadratic term. If there's no quadratic term, the equation will become a linear equation. Okay, so make sure that your a or your numerical coefficient for your quadratic term is not equal to 0. Then we'll have the steps. For the steps, okay, first we need to identify, or first we need to, the first step in quadratic equation is using the quadratic formula. I'm sorry, the first step in using the quadratic formula, make sure that your statement or your equation is written on the standard form. How can we check if the equation is written in standard form? You must only have one quadratic term, a linear term, and a constant term. Okay? Then if it was already written in standard form, that is the time that we will proceed on the next step. For the next step, we'll identify the value of the A, B, and C. Okay? Let us identify the A, B, and C. For A, this is equal to 2. B, don't forget the negative sign, so it's negative 4. And C is equal to negative 30. So that is the next step. We identify the A, B, and C. Okay? After identifying the A, B, and C, this is what I am doing. I will not write again the formula since we already have the formula in here, a copy of formula. I will write the formula. However, instead of writing the letters, I will replace them into a parenthesis because we were going to substitute all those letters or variables into their values. So we have in here a square minus 4 is a constant one. Don't forget to write 4. And then instead of A, we will put parentheses. Instead of C, we will put parentheses all over 2, and then another parenthesis. Okay? Third step. Okay, well, let us recall first. Step 1, check this given equation if it is written in standard form. Step 2, you will identify the A, B, and C. Step 3, you will write the quadratic formula on that kind of format. Then step 4, you will substitute. You are going to plug in You will plug in all the values of a, b, and c. We will still follow the quadratic formula. So b is -4. Don't forget the negative. That is the reason. This is the reason why I replace them into a parenthesis, because when we simplify it or when we substitute it, we will have double sign in here. To avoid confusion, that is why I'm using a parenthesis. And then b squared is -4. After that, we have a, which is 2, and then c is -30. And then 2 over 2a, and then the a is 2 in here. For the next step, fifth step, okay, we will simplify our equation. So negative times negative will give us a +4 plus and minus square root -4 squared. Okay, let me clarify this one. -4 squared, let us write it in here. So -4 squared is not -4 times 2. That is wrong. -4 squared is -4 times -4. Exponent tells you how many times you will multiply the base. So the small number is the exponent and this is the base. And then negative times negative will give you positive, and 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, do not get confused on how to operate exponents. So we have now in here -4 squared is 16. After that, -4 times 2 is -8. -8 times -30 will give you a positive 240. So it will give you a positive number because negative in here times negative will give you positive. There you go. 2 times 2 will have 4. Simplify it again. We bring down 4 plus minus square root. 240 plus 16 is 256. 256. All over 4. Oh my God, there is a square root of 256. But don't worry, 256 is a perfect square. You may use calculator to get it. Or if you are familiarized with those perfect square, so like for example, we have square root of 1 is positive and -1. Positive and negative. Let me write equal sign in here. Positive and -1. We have also a square root of 4. These are the perfect square. You may search them if you want. We have also positive and negative 2. And then you have also square root of 9 is equal to positive and -3, I'm sorry. Square root of 16. We have positive and -4. Yes, how did you know those perfect square root? Any consecutive numbers, any numbers that if you multiply them by themselves and you get that answer, that is a perfect square root. Like in 5, positive and -5. We have square root of 25. When you square root a number, you always have 2 answers. The one is positive and then the other one is negative. That's why you can see in here we have 2 signs, positive and negative, because when you square root 256, we will have a specific number. Square root of 256 is 16, because 16 times 16 is 256. Okay, so we have now in here 4 positive and negative. If you square root 256, just make sure that you will not write again the radical symbol. Okay, because that is the common mistake of my student previously. They already squared 256, which is 16, and they will write another radical symbol in here. That is wrong. Okay, because you already simplified it, do not write again the radical symbol. And you have 4 in here. Then, for the 6th step, we'll separate the positive 16 to a negative 16. So we will create a border line in here, a divider line for our x first value. The first value of x, we'll use the positive 16. That is how I got. Sorry, x sub 1 is just a representation of the 2 separate values of x. We'll also have x sub 2 in here. because we will separate the positive 16 to negative 16. So we have 4 plus 16 plus 16 all over 4. And then in here we have 4 minus 16 all over 4. Okay, then let us simplify them to get the first roots or the first solution. Very easy and simple. 4 plus 16 is 20 over 4. Divide 4. And then the second value of your x sub 2, it's just a representation of the second value of your x. 4 minus 16 is negative 12 over 4. We can still simplify our final answer. So x sub 1 in here, 20 divided 4 is 5. This is the first root. Yippee! You already find the first root. And then the second one, we have x sub 2. We have negative 3. So those are the roots. So we call this one as the roots. Let me change this one and highlight them. So these are the roots. Roots. Another term for roots is zeros. Another term for zeros are solutions. Another term for solutions are x-intercept. How about the factors? How can we identify the factors? So to write the factors, we will replace the given by, we will write the format by parentheses. Okay, for parentheses. Okay, change this one. Okay, again, the format of a factors are parentheses. So we'll have an x. We'll move 5 on the other side. So from positive, it will cross the equal sign, it will become negative 5 in here. Common mistake of my student, they thought that roots and factors are just the same. That is wrong. Factors are written as a group, okay? And then in here, we have again another x. Moving negative 3 on the other side, we have positive 3. So there you go. Okay, so those are the answers for the factors and for the roots. Let us highlight them. Highlight, highlight, highlight. Okay, so that is the difference between roots and factors. Hope you get it. And then we'll proceed on the next example. For the next example, we can apply the step 1 in here since the given is not yet written in the standard form. Okay, so to write it in the standard form, we'll bring down 4x squared, followed by the linear term. So we're going to move the x on this side, cross the equal sign. From positive, it will become negative. Bring down negative 22 equals, you bring down negative, I thought it is equal to 0. So we'll erase this one because we'll need to move again negative 4 on the other side. Because we're writing it in a standard form, all constant, all variables, all terms will be written in the left side. So moving negative 4 across the equal sign, we have positive 4 in here. And then equal 0. We still have a common terms in here or like terms, so we will combine them. Bring down 4x squared minus x. Negative 22 plus 4, this is combining integers. We're subtracting them because they are unlike sign, and you will copy the sign of the bigger absolute value number, which is negative. 22 minus 4 is 18. That is how we get negative 18 equals 0. For the next step, after checking the given statement, if it is written or equation, if it is written in standard form, next step, we will identify the A, B, and C. It is easily to identify the A, B, and C if it is written in the standard form. So A is equal to 4. B is equal to, you cannot see a number, that means it is 1. So negative 1, and C is negative 18. There you go, negative 18. Fuck. Then after that, char, okay. So after that, we are going to use the quadratic formula. Pack na pack, papak na papak. Okay, so we have now x is equal to we'll replace negative, the b in here, plus minus by parentheses. Then b squared, we'll change b by parentheses, minus 4, and then b, a, and then c parentheses, 2, all over 2 parentheses. Now, this is the time now that we will substitute the given variables substitute the given value of each variables. So b is negative 1, negative 1. Negative, oopsie, what's happening? Okay, we'll change this one in here. So we have negative 1, and then negative 1 again. And then the A is 4, the C is negative 18. Then the A is 4. Let's simplify it. So we have negative times negative in here. We'll have positive 1 plus minus. When you square a number, as I mentioned, it will become positive. Negative 1 times negative 1, we have positive 1 in here. Negative 4 times 4. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. Then negative 16 times negative 18. So 16 times 18, we have 288. So plus 288. G. And 2 times 4, we have also an 8. Simplify it again in here. We have 1, positive and negative. We can now add 1 and 288. It's 289. All over 8. And 289 is a perfect square root of 17. So let me write it in here. So 289 is a perfect square root of positive and negative 17. Positive and 17. Because 17 times 17, you will have 289. Okay, let me continue the discussion here. So we have 1, positive and negative 17. Because we square 289, which is equal to 17, and then 8. We'll create a line in here. We'll divide it because we're separating the positive to negative. So we have the first value of x. We have 1 plus 17 over 8. And the second value of your x, we have 1 minus 17 over 8. Okay, let us simplify our answer. 1 plus 17 is 18 over 8. Or how many 8 we can get in 18? We can still simplify this one by 9 over 4 because they are both divisible by 2. Or if you want to write your answer also in the form of mixed fraction, because this one is an improper fraction, the numerator is higher than the denominator, we can simplify it by 2.5 or 2.5. It's the first value of the x. And then the second value of the x in here, 1 minus 17 is negative 16 over 8. So negative 16 over 8, 6 is divisible by 8, right? So what is negative 16 divide 8? Hold on, 1 minus 17. Yeah, 1 minus 17 is negative 16. So what is negative 16 over 8? It's
2.
negative. Don't forget the negative. It's negative 2. Good job. So
Negative
that
2.
is, yep. Thank you so much for that. Very good. So the solutions or the factors, so we may write our answers in here now. Let me just write in here. Then, so the x value for the roots, so we have, oopsie, x is equal to 2.5 and x is equal to 2. Let me just change the font so that you can see them clearly in here. And for the roots, we can also identify, those are the roots actually. For the factors, we can type the factors. So we can write factors. So the factors is written in the parentheses or by groupings, and we reverse their sign. Don't forget that. So we have now x from positive 2.5, it will become minus 2.5. Close parenthesis. Then another parenthesis, we have x from negative 2, we move it on the other side of the equation. It will become positive 2. Don't get confused on the factors and zeros. So please take note of that. Okay, so there you go. So those are the factors and the roots. Let me highlight them. We'll move them in here and then encircle them. Or backstem. Backstem, 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 backstem. And then that's it. So that is the example for number 2. And then I receive a question, Miss, what if the given number or the radical, the given number inside the radical sign, that is what we call radicand, is not a perfect square root like what you did? And that is the example in number 3. I will discuss this one very quick, okay? So it was already written in standard form. Next up, we'll identify the A, B, and C. Okay, don't forget that your A is equal to negative 2. Your B is equal to positive 9. And your C is equal to positive 4. C is equal to 4. Okay, and then we will use the formula of the quadratic formula. So we have x equals negative b plus minus, plus minus, plus minus. We have, oopsie, I forgot that we will use parentheses. Okay, not rewriting this one. So parentheses, 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 square minus 4 parentheses, 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 parentheses. There are a lot of parentheses. And then 2 times the parentheses again and again. Okay, then we'll substitute its value. Let me change this one so that you can see them clearly. Negative b is 9, b or b is 9, and then your b is 9, your a is negative 2, don't forget the sign, and then the c is positive 4. Your a again is negative 2 in here. Okay, let's go back and simplify the given. So negative times positive will have negative 9, then plus minus in here, plus minus, plus minus. 9 squared is not 9 times 2, no. 9 squared is 9 times 9, will give you an 81. And the negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Positive 8 times 4 is positive 32. All over 2 times negative 2, you have negative 4. Equals negative 9 plus minus square root of, what is 81 plus 32? It is 113. And 113 is not a perfect square root. So what am I going to do? If it is a non-perfect square root, like the square root of 113, we're going to factor it. We'll look for a one perfect square and one non-perfect square for its factor. If there's no one perfect square or one non-perfect square, that is the simplest answer. So in here, when you factor 113, it's just 1 times 113 because 113 is a prime number. And prime number means that you only have two factors of it. It's itself and 1. So that is the simplest answer. We cannot longer simplify it because that is the final answer. So for your x sub 1, the answer is negative 9. We'll use positive in here, positive square root of 113 all over 4. Okay, we also have another value which is x sub 2, which is negative 9 minus square root of 113 minus 4. Miss, is that the final answer? Yes. In terms of algebraically, that's the simplest answer. However, on the assessment or test, major exam, if the given answer are in decimal point, you may also write your answer into a decimal point. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, this one is negative 0.41. And this one, if I'm not mistaken, you may use a calculator. It's fine. This one is positive. Oopsie, don't forget the negative and negative in here. Okay, it's 4.71 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so those are the possible values or the roots, and you may also write them into a factor form. It depends on what is asked on the instructions. Okay, so for your output, because I will repeat this one, I believe in saying, no, I believe that in math, there is no retention if you will not apply it on your own, if you will not apply what you've learned. Okay, so hope you understand it and hope it was clear and hope it helped you a lot in how to use quadratic formula in solving quadratic equation. Then don't hesitate to write a comment if you have questions or if you need more explanation. To please do A and B for your output. And that's all for today. So see you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Share, share, share. You guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy while learning.
Turn notifications on.
You're right. Thank you for that.